Welcome back, hustlers. On today's episode, we have Sky and Wednesday from Two People Studio. So Two People Studio is a creative post-production studio specializing in 2D and 3D animation. They were freelancers and full-time hustlers before they started the company in 2014. So the company exists to animate stories, bringing them to life in the funnest possible way. So the fun fact for you, the company started off with just the both of them, hence the name, guys. So stay tuned to the end of the episode to learn more about their journey and how they went from struggling freelancers to operating a successful animation agency. Hey Sky, Rong, thanks for coming on to the show.
Hi.
So why don't we start off by saying hello, introducing yourself, and also Two People Studio.
Hi.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Sky. So I'm the managing director of Two People Studio.
Hi, I'm Rong. I'm the creative director for Two People Studio.
Oh, awesome. So how do you guys start this business? What was your journey, coming out from your full-time jobs, freelancing, and then, starting a business beforehand and then not working out and stuff?
Yeah. I'll start first.
Okay.
So basically I started as a 3D artist for a couple of game companies. And then what happened was I was recruited by a friend's friend to start a company together. Didn't work out. And then later on I tried my hand on teaching part-time so that I have time for myself and also enough money to feed myself. Then later on, when the time comes, because Rong was freelancing and she needed help, so we thought we can start a company together. Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
For me, it's quite different because I'm quite afraid of doing business. Like coming out on my own is quite scary to me. So I used to work in production studios and Astro and then a game company. Then I decided to just quit and do my own stuff.
Yeah, so I thought you were, scared of starting a business. So what made you take the leap?
Because it's too boring.
Too boring.
working out there, it was too boring. I don't find, how to say, it's not fulfilling. We are just always doing what client wants, what my boss wants. So I decided to come up.
So in terms of running your own agency, your own studio, do you get a lot more autonomy in terms of expressing yourself?
Yeah, actually I can propose stuff that I like to do. So let's say client want to do a video, then I just show them what we can do, what we want to do.
Yeah.
I see.
Instead of just taking orders and just execute it.
I see. So do clients usually buy in most of the time?
Sometimes.
Actually, 90% of the time actually.
90% of the time.
It depends on how we create the proposal.
I see.
Yeah.
So it must feel good, having your ideas validated, that your ideas are...
Definitely. I think most of the time clients because they haven't seen some things that we've thought was cool. So they are generally quite open to new ideas. It's just that they've never seen it, so if you don't prepare a good proposal to them, they won't even know what that is. Yeah.
I see.
It's kind of trying to wow them with references and proposals.
I see. So what are your roles? How do you all divide your roles in between yourselves in this company?
Sky is mostly, I think, the managing
big picture kind of thing.
Finance department.
Yeah, occasionally HR.
Yeah, I'm mostly dealing with designers and projects.
I see.
Execute them.
So you manage say production and you're the commercial guy, sort of.
I'm more like the general direction of the company guy.
I see.
So we discuss everything amongst ourselves and decide together but most of the time I come up with big ideas that let's do this, let's do that, and then we try to figure out how to achieve that. I mean, she's the operation kind of person where she can figure out how to do it and how to do it well. Yeah.
I see. So you're the crazy ideas guy and you execute ideas.
Yeah, she's very down to earth. Yeah.
I see. I see. So tell me a little bit more about how it all started, especially your entrepreneurial journey, how, your first business didn't work out so well, and how it transitioned into, working for Two People Studio. Yeah.
Sure. Well, like I said just now, I started off being recruited by a friend's friend to start this game company together. It didn't go well because we weren't dedicated, because we were still working our 9 to 5, and after hours we actually go to our so-called small office to work on our own projects. But I think the problem with the dynamics was that we weren't sure where we were going, and we're not even sure how the game is played. So we just kind of like dive into the field without knowing how to actually do it.
I see.
Yeah, so that's how it failed, So I think after that, what we did was we call it quits, and then later on I started teaching. I started teaching because I wanted to have more time to develop my own contents or my own IP with a friend also. Then later on, we kind of thought that we liked teaching also. So we started this academy called Art Academy, where we wanted to, provide a different type of education, because we don't want to go the whole route or college route where it's over commercialized and, students are just treated as customers or clients. So we wanted to give like really practical and useful information and knowledge to them. So yeah, Art Academy is still going on.
I see. So this Art Academy is ARTE ACADEMY, right? So what kind of stuff do you all teach? Like, just to dive in a little bit more.
We teach animation in general.
I see.
Yeah,
okay.
3D animation and anything that is slightly related.
Okay. So how did the first clients come in? You mentioned it came in from your previous freelance clients, right? So how did it all get started? How did your freelancing career get started?
I think I would like to give a shout out to Abid, my ex-boss from Astro. So he was my boss in Astro. Then after that, when he quit, he opened his own agency. So that's when my first few jobs were from him.
From his agency.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he has a lot of trust in my design, so usually we have full creative control.
I see. So you mentioned that you are a bit risk averse. You're not really like a business person.
Yeah.
So were you anxious when you just quit your job, like your full-time job and everything?
Yes, very. I remember like telling Sky like how if we don't have business, how like, always these kind of questions.
I see. But how long did that last, that anxiety?
I think up to now, sometimes once in a while I will still talk to him about this.
I see. I think that's part and parcel of being an entrepreneur and running your own show, right?
It's never comfortable. Even after 5 years now, we still have like new challenges every time.
I see. So how did the business grow? Like, if you don't mind sharing some, business trajectory, like maybe like first year, how did it look like? Second year, how did it look like? Third, fourth?
I think first year, the sales that we got is not bad. It made us hire a designer, a helper. That time we thought it wouldn't last up until now.
Yeah.
But our
still
first
with us.
designer is still with us.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like 4 years ago.
Actually, he was my student.
In Art Academy?
No.
Other
Because I used to teach in other colleges as well.
I see.
So he was from Alpha College.
I see. And you picked the best student, or?
I
of
asked
course.
him and the students in the class.
I
So
see.
then after that, I think the climb was like after 2 years. After 2 years in business, then the sales was like double up. So we that's when we had like 9 designers last year. Before we moved in here, we had like 9 people. 9 people in
the team.
I see. Are you guys like still on track to grow the business even more?
Yeah, actually, it is still like going out, but we are not too sure how long this will last because the market in Malaysia is not very, how to say,
It's not doing that well at the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah.
I see.
Because clients are cutting budgets and stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff are you guys doing to counteract this? I'm pretty sure you all have a plan to.
We are trying to get more clients from overseas.
Yeah. Actually, we went out and learned the Thai language because we were thinking of visiting Thailand and maybe visiting some of the studios there. I mean, Thailand is a yearly thing for us, lah. I mean, we love going to Bangkok, but we just thought why not just visit some of the studios and agencies there? Who knows, it might open up new opportunities.
Yeah, and Thailand is growing fast, very very fast growing economy as well in Southeast Asia.
And
So
they're really creative.
yeah, their directors,
Yes.
their film directors are one of the best in the world, right? So, just to rewind a little bit. During your first year in business, it was actually set up to handle your freelance workload,
Yes.
sort of. How has that changed? How are you all getting clients now?
Right now, I think.
Most of our clients are from referrals. So one client would refer us to another client and so on and so forth. So much so until, sometimes people would call us up and tell us that, I got your contact from so and so, but we were like, we don't really know that person. So we're like, this guy? Who is this?
Yeah.
Not sure. Yeah, so I think, words gets around lah.
Yeah, especially if you're doing a good job. A great job, I'm sorry. Because I hear it from a few of my previous podcast guests as well. A lot of them, they've been in the business for very long and all of them are actually, growing due to referral traffic from the great job that they've, provided to their clients. So for y'all. Another thing is, I wanted to ask how big is your team now? I'm not sure if I asked this question now.
6 altogether.
6 altogether.
Including the two of us.
Oh, so you all had 9 previously. So what happened, in between? Is it normal?
I think it's quite normal. Some of them would like to try a different path. Like just recently, there's one designer realized that she might want to venture into different field. Like maybe doing producing instead of designing.
Producing as in, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Producer, because in our studio we have one producer who usually helps us to contact clients, get jobs, get projects. Yeah, but for us, for this size of studio, we don't really need another producer. That's when she decided to
Me first. Yeah.
I see. So tell me more about this producer role. Very interesting. How do they, what are their processes like, their sales process and stuff?
Well, actually, we call it a producer, but it's more like a business development manager, where this person will bring in sales by he or she would go out and look for businesses, talk to people, network with clients, friends, and stuff like that. And then ultimately bringing in projects or sales lah.
So the producer does the pitching most of the time, or
sometimes they would prepare proposal decks and stuff like that as well. Going to do presentations.
I see.
But we're still very hands-on on doing that as well lah. Sometimes
I see. Sometimes you all go and pitch, yeah.
So usually the idea will be from
us. And then we sometimes if we have time, we'll just go out with the producer and just do it together lah.
Okay. So how's your working culture like? I mean, I'm looking at your office right now. Everyone seems to be enjoying themselves working, which is rare, right? So tell me more about your culture.
We love to play games together. Right now we are hooked on Mario Kart. So we will play games every day, almost every day. We treat our designers like adults, so we don't really limit them like what time they should come in, what time they have to leave. As long as their work is done, and we are okay with anything. Yes.
I see. So it sounds like, you know, a very flat hierarchy. You know, everyone's like a family member, sort of. You know, you play games together.
Friends.
I mean, play games together. I'm sorry, excuse me. So like, and you mentioned complete free working hours, like completely free, or how does a typical day look like?
10 to 7.
An official guideline, so but it's not that restrictive, I mean sometimes you gotta have mutual respect, so it's about us respecting them as adults, respecting their ability to make adult decisions and also not go out of line, and they also respect us as the bosses, but we don't want to see ourselves as bosses or anything. I mean, we don't want to see them as subordinates as well. We want to see each other as collaborators, so that they are not, I mean, ultimately they are working for themselves. It's not like we're trying to reap all the profit or anything. I mean, ultimately this is for the greater good and everybody's going to benefit from it. That's how we see the business.
So how did your previous jobs, your previous employment, how has that affected, developing this company's culture in a way?
I think my first job affected me greatly in Fly Studio. I had a really great time there. Throughout my 2 years working there, everyone was very close. So we usually work late together, like, because we can play games.
I think the game thing was definitely from there, right? I think it really binds us together. I mean, the gaming culture, because I interned there for 3 months also, and it's the greatest time of my life back then, because I think the culture there was really nice, because back then everybody's so helpful and they help each other out. I mean, even as an intern, I stay back during weekends just to see what the seniors are doing, finding out and learning stuff from them, and then ultimately we'll play games together,
How interesting.
Those are the funnest times we had.
What about any negative experiences that you didn't want, to bring into this company? Anything like that?
I think she has more working experience.
So more juicy.
I think definitely the overtime. I quit because I think it's taking too much time. Like, I didn't really enjoy my life. It's just a work. So I think for this company, Two People Studio, we definitely don't want too much of OTs and working over the weekends. I think because it's like a norm for designers to work late, to work overtime, so we are trying to change it.
So what kind of things did you like implement or teach to so that work still gets done, but it doesn't spill over into their personal time?
I think we try to train our designers to work fast.
Okay.
Fast and good.
Fast and good. Wow.
Yeah.
Like any specific tips for aspiring animators or designers out there? Like,
To work fast?
does it take time, or is it like a certain set of rules or steps that you need to take?
I think it's mostly mindset and practice.
Mindset and practice.
Let's say you give yourself the time until 7 p.m. And then you will focus and do your work, finish your work within that timeline. Because we realize if you stretch your time, let's say I don't mind to stay back, I can work until 10 p.m. So you will be slow because you have until 10 p.m.
So and then you will procrastinate, read some things.
So
it's more mindset than actually a skill set, lah.
I think if you really want to finish before 7, then you would do it. It just depends on how much you want to finish before you go home. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's more of a mindset kind of thing.
And practice, definitely.
Definitely practice as well.
I see.
Another thing that I like to add is something that we do. I'm not sure whether other studios do it as well. I mean, sometimes we try to educate our clients as well by letting them know that we don't work during weekends, especially not on Sundays, and also after hours. So what we do is that we, like, when they ask for WIPs and stuff like that during weekends and stuff, we always make it a point that we will send to them on Monday. We'll just tell them politely, okay, so you want to see something, we can send it on Monday. Or like sometimes after hours, we'll tell them, okay, we'll send to you first thing in the morning. Yeah. So it's kind of like not trying to stop them or anything, but trying to sort of subconsciously educate them that we also need our personal free time to be with our families, our friends, you know. So hopefully they would learn to respect our time as well.
I think that's when a producer plays a very important role in communicating with clients,
Yes.
getting better deals for artists.
I see. Get better deals. Can you define that a little
Better
bit?
deals like longer timeline, maybe.
Better timelines.
Better timeline.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in this field we are so used to like, oh, okay, yes, okay, I will do this for you in
Just
this
to
time.
just to get the business, right?
Yeah.
But we are like, you know, we always think that this is negotiable lah.
I see. So have any clients taken these things like negatively before?
So far, I think clients are quite reasonable.
Yeah.
As long
see.
as you have proof.
Or you have, I mean they are reasonable people lah. So they won't just say like, oh, you know, I'm not going to give you time just because I want it like within this timeline, because I mean, while we want their business, they also want our help. They also need our help to help them solve their problems. So I think it's also a mutual thing where if you can respect my time, then I will also do a good job for you. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. So if you guys can give advice if someone is working a full-time job right now that is unfulfilling, like a previous job, and they're exploring freelancing, what kind of advice would you give them? I guess like Rong, you'll be the correct person to answer this.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure if it's legal to tell people to do freelance other than their full-time job.
It depends on their company's policy, so it doesn't matter. It's fine.
I think I think it will be quite tiring at first because you're like working full-time and then at night you'll be working on the freelance job, but just believe that it will pay off. Your hard work will like pay off. Just get whatever that you can. Like last time I didn't really choose what kind of job I'll get. When I first started, I'll just do whatever that comes to me.
I see.
Then slowly from there, I develop my own portfolios and then just do marketing with the portfolios to get more jobs.
I see. How do you market yourself?
Just posting on Behance,
Behance.
Vimeo.
And then Vimeo and Behance, and then Malaysian clients will find you out from there.
Yeah, actually. They don't really find me from there. It's through referral mostly.
Okay, still mainly through referral lah.
But I think it still helps lah. I mean, it's a good platform for you to showcase your portfolio and also like videos especially. Yeah.
So do you guys have a Behance account like your company, like as a company?
We do, but we are not really active.
We're more active on Vimeo lah.
I see.
Yeah, because most of our works are just animation and videos, so
Behance is more static, right?
Like graphic.
like branding kind of thing.
I see.
Not to say that Behance is not suitable for videos, but
Yeah.
we just don't prefer using Behance.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, a bit more of a general question now. Like, what's the state of the animation industry in Malaysia right now? Like in terms of the clients, the people participating, the people providing these services. Like, what's the state? A bit more general lah.
For me, sorry. Yeah, for me, I think that maybe in this field, people are not taking artists or designers very seriously. Like most of the time, we are just to them, to a lot of clients, we are just tools to execute their whatever they have in mind. So I think a lot is down to. I mean, we can't blame all this on clients as well because some clients might have had like bad experiences with artists as well. So I think the state is that we are not seen as professionals lah. That's why I see. Hence the pricing and everything sometimes is not as satisfactory as we want it to be.
I see. Why is that? Can we just talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that's very concerning.
Sure. I'll give a good example that a conversation that I had with a potential client before. So this client was coming to me asking for a quotation for a job. Then we look at the job and then we quoted a price the usual thing. Then the client was like taken by surprise. She was like, "Oh my God, this is so expensive. Why is this so expensive?" Then I said, "No, this is actually our very usual price." Then she said, "Oh, I've had this designer freelancer before, and they only quote like a fraction of your price." So I asked, like, since the freelancer is giving you such a good price, why are we having this conversation? Then so she said, sometimes freelancers could be busy, they have their 9 to 5, sometimes it's hard to contact them, and sometimes it's the quality that they submit is not as good. So from there I think I understand that sometimes clients get like, because they had bad experience with certain designers, because some designers, they might not take their job as seriously as the clients want to. Because sometimes maybe to the designer, I have a few clients here. I have to do work for all of them. But when the client is dealing with you, right? The client is just dealing with you only. So it's kind of like it's a different impact there, The client is putting all the hopes in one basket, and then you are trying to do a few jobs at the same time, right? To feed yourself. So I think from there, the most important thing is like for the artist to be professional. I mean, whatever you do, it has to be on time. You have to be fast, and then you have to deliver good quality projects for the clients. So from there, I think maybe a lot of clients, and maybe in this field, a lot of artists are not doing a good enough job to actually uphold the reputation of the
profession.
Field, the profession.
So what do you guys do in particular that sets you all apart from these crappy freelancers or agencies?
I think Rong mentioned just now, being fast is one of the things.
Very responsive. Whatever client want to reach us for some simple question, we will just like answer very quickly.
Yeah, you have to be very responsive Because like people worry, right? When you are asking somebody to do something for you, right? And if you call that person and the person doesn't pick up, it's worrying. It drives you mad.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you all say clients, do you all go direct to like say brands, or do you all usually work with an intermediary agency? Most of the time.
50-50.
50-50.
We still go through agencies and some direct clients.
Some direct clients. Yeah.
I see. And direct clients, you deal with their marketing department right away, kind of thing. Like what kind of do you see a difference between these two types of companies that you all do work with? Like like say the direct ones are usually like in this industry doing these things. Is there a significant difference at all?
I think sometimes with direct clients we get more creative freedom.
Yeah.
I see.
Usually with agencies, we'll just execute their storyboards. So usually agency will come to
the
us.
creative is already.
Yeah.
I see.
Done.
I see. Then you'll just execute.
Yep.
Okay. So do you all do any work outside of Malaysia, or do you all only have local clients?
We do work outside Malaysia as well. We occasionally go to China, station there for like a month or something, just to work on a car launch project or maybe some other launching, mostly events
I see.
Event videos.
What about like the recurring aspect of your clients? Like how many % of them are like new clients? Like every month you can see in your revenue, like how much revenue is driven by new clients, how much revenue is driven by existing
clients. That's 50-50
Yeah,
or so.
it's quite balanced. Yeah, it's kind of like a train. Somebody gets on
Gets on.
and then stay for a while, and then they get off, and then new people come in. Yeah.
I see. Is there anyone who has dropped off and then come back again after disappearing for 1 year?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
So
after
it's
2 years.
so it's more like a requirement thing. Maybe like during that time they have product launches or what, then they will engage you.
Yeah, I think sometimes they just sort of like see us as one of the contacts that can help them to do whatever they need lah. So sometimes when we're not free, then they'll just engage somebody else. It's a common thing lah.
I see. Okay. On a totally separate note, in the email that you sent me, you guys said that your hopes for the future is that you guys can move on to a more community-based business model, where designers can share knowledge, resources, and opportunities with each other, instead of being the biggest studio that takes on every single client. For example, can you tell me a little bit more about this vision, because it sounds rather selfless and it's very, very interesting to know.
Yeah, I think what we want for the future is that we are hoping to see designers being treated more seriously and to being seen as professionals.
Back to your previous what you mentioned just now.
Yeah, from what we understand, it has to start with ourselves. We have to be professional first before people can take us seriously. So I think setting up a community would help us with that lah. Because I think a lot of things are not standardized in this field, like down to the SOPs of how we do things and how we treat clients, how we quote prices, right? Everybody have their own system. But what if we can unify this system, come out with a certain standard, and everybody tries to follow that system? I think that would be very good for the industry, because everybody is doing, almost the same level of quality for the clients, and also providing the same quality of service to our clients. So in that sense, it will benefit everybody lah. So business doesn't have to be just me monopolizing everything, right? If it benefits the whole field, it benefits us as well. Yeah, that's how we see it lah.
I see. So what kind of stuff are you all going to do, in terms of, building out this community-based business?
Well, we started this small group with 2 other studios, and we have this bi-weekly meeting to discuss business matters, to discuss like how to handle our clients, how to handle our designers, these kind of things.
I see. So it's like 2 other animation studios.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Like, were you all friends beforehand, or like, how did you all connect with each other?
Actually,
Yeah, it's our friends' studios.
Then we decided to work on this together.
I see.
Yeah.
So, awesome. So, like, what kind of stuff do y'all talk about, in terms of,
During the meeting?
Yeah, like a bit more specific anymore.
Yeah, we mostly have this like a long-term agenda lah, where we would always start off with talking about things that we face, like the recent problems that we face and how we would solve them. So we discuss and find out how other people would solve it. Right, so they will just give suggestions and not. It's not the whole point is not to give solutions, but more like explaining how I would do it differently. And so that everybody gets a piece of information of, this is another option
that we can handle this kind.
And for example, let's say if next time I'm faced with the same problem, how would I face it? How would I solve it? These kind of things. And then we also try to start some projects together. Actually,
like collaborating on certain projects.
For this year Chinese New Year, we actually did an animation together. So each studio would work on the part that they are most specialized in. Yeah. So we actually did this animation for Chinese New Year. It's a greeting animation.
Oh, for which company, if I may ask? Is it?
It's actually just solely our own animation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So like I'm not an expert in this field. So what kind of specializations are there in terms of animation?
There are quite a lot.
Yeah, tons of them.
2D animation, 3D animation,
Motion graphics, yeah.
visual effects, like movie visual effects.
I see. So where does two people stand as specialists like in these areas?
We will always say that we are specialized in 2D animation, doing infographics, and sometimes right now we are trying to venture into cell animation.
Cell?
Frame by frame animation, where we draw each frame like hand-drawn.
Wow.
Frame.
Okay, that sounds, very
old school Disney style. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Last question before we end this episode. If you guys could start Two People Studio from day one again, what would you all do differently?
Wow.
Knowing what you know now.
What would we do differently?
I think I wouldn't do it much differently from how. Yeah.
So you started perfectly.
Yeah. I think for us it was a very rewarding journey throughout.
Wow.
Personally for me it's like that. I'm sure there are some mistakes that we make along the way, but nothing too serious, nothing too destructive in any way. So I value them a lot, and I think that those are what help make us who we are today.
Wow. Yeah. Not many people can say that. What about you, Rong? Anything else to add on?
Actually, more or less the same.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That means you guys are really good at what you all do. You all know the whole plan already.
Not really, actually.
Not really.
I think maybe because we didn't really have a lot of expectation to the company. Like I said, we only wanted 2 people in this company. We didn't have big dreams. We just so it grows along the way. Then we just accept every challenges that came our way.
Yeah.
I see. Wow, very, very, very inspiring to hear. Almost every other podcast guest has some regrets that they want to,
Really?
But they wouldn't have done it any differently. They would still do it the same way. But they would.
Yeah, I think
almost always say hire earlier or do this more kind of thing. But happy that you guys are on a path that you guys were really happy with and you guys are feeling fulfilled on this journey as well. So before we end this podcast episode, is there anything else that you guys would like to add on? We can talk about Two People Studio or anything.
I think I would start by giving a piece of advice to whoever's going to be in this field or is already in this field, is to be professional. Try to uphold the highest professionalism that you can give, because that's the most important thing. Just try to be professional to your clients, respond to them, do great work for them, and also doing within the timeline that they give you. Yeah.
And keep your passion burning. Don't sell yourself short. And that's very important as well.
How do you, okay, sorry, I want to jump in there because pricing, especially, when you're just starting out as a freelancer, you probably don't know how to price your services. How would you judge that?
I think, maybe you can look at this guy called Chris Do.
Chris Do? How do you spell it?
CHRISDO.
Okay, Chris Do.
Chris Do. Yeah, he's very famous in teaching freelancers on how to start up, how to calculate your value versus time.
But I think, as a general guide, just think of how much time you're gonna spend on the project, and then just calculate by hour or by day. That's the easiest guideline that you can think of.
I see. Okay, really useful piece of advice over there for all of you freelancers listening. Are you guys sure you guys have nothing else to add on? Are you guys hiring anybody or looking for new clients?
Yes. We are actually hiring at the moment. So to passionate motion designers out there, so please feel free to reach out to us via Facebook. You can search for Two People Studio. That's 2 with TWO. And also feel free to send in your resume and portfolio to hello@twopeoplestudio.net.
Perfect, guys. So I will be including all those links and email inside the show notes as well, in case you are wondering. So guys, if you have any freelance friends or animator family members and you think that they can benefit from this episode, please ask them to share this. Please share this episode with them. And if you like what you've heard on this episode, definitely hit the subscribe button and leave a review. Or if you have anything else to say to me, drop me a feedback on www.hustler.com/feedback. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for coming on to the show once again.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.